and welcome to the Maritime Iracing League here at South Boston Speedway. I'm Dakota Calling. Joining me in the broadcast booth, we have Michael Keeton, and on pit road tonight, Aaron Groskopf, joining us for the first time. He's actually a driver from Iracing. Working the cameras tonight, though, John Wessling, joining him in the production booth, J.D. Webb. I believe Phil Foltz is also up there kind of hanging out. Keeton, South Boston Speedway, and especially after an exciting week last week, as it always is here in the Maritime Iracing League.
Yeah, it really was, Dakota, and the format of these races that they've got, the three heats, of course the B main, and then the A main, or the feature event, it really makes for some exciting races. Only the top 8 advance into the A main or to the feature race out of the heats, and only one advances out of the B main, if there shall be one tonight, which is a 20-lap shootout, no cautions.
Yeah, and speaking of the heat races back at New Smyrna Raceway, it was Ricky Arbeau going away with heat number 1, Carter Wilson heat number 2, Mark Williams heat number 3, and Ronald McKay sneaking away with the B main heat.
And then winning that feature, Stephen Matthews, which this is the results from that big race, the 125. Stephen Matthews getting it done, leading 28 laps, but the man who would lead the most, Mike Alexander, would have the door shut on him, Dakota. He finished second.
Yeah, Carter Wilson was able to sneak into 3rd position. I think it was one of the most interesting races for him trying to get up there. He did lead 18 laps, and I believe he was on the outside for quite a bit on a restart. If I remember, he was making it really exciting up there, going for the lead on his restarts. Ricky Arbeau, the guy everybody had it in the bag at one point in the race, had led 34 laps and was looking really strong, just had a little bit of trouble, went down pit road, and was only able to recover up to 4th position.
Mark Williams bringing home that 24 Chevrolet into the top 5 finish. Couldn't get a lap led, but he ran strong all night, finished 5th, and behind him in 6th position, Nathan Doherty.
How about Ronald McKay in 7th position? I mean, ever since he's won, I believe he's won about 2 heat races now total, and I want to check that. Yeah, he's won 2 heat races so far this season. Make that actually, 2. Just want to make sure there, but won 2 heat races, and he just cannot get the finish he needs in those, those final races, those 125 lappers. It's just too much for him, I guess. I don't know. Martin Landry is able to bring it home in 8th position.
And then 9th, the 03 machine of Ryan McIntosh, starting 29th position, had to claw his way into the race, Dakota, somehow finished 9th position. And then Tim Terry, who had to race the B main and qualified in via points from last year. Tim Terry picked up the top 10 at the Rustic and Towing 125 last week at New Smyrna Speedway.
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of ironic, because Tim Terry, he was having his hands were just, I mean, entirely full trying to hang on to that car last week at New Smyrna Raceway, and it was kind of just funny to watch him go around and try to hang on to it. He's able to bring it home 10th, and it was just like, good job there, Tim.
So after 3 races, the first one of the season being at Lanier, the second at the Paperclip track, Martinsville, and then again last week at New Smyrna, we head to South Boston, as Dakota mentioned. This is the overall Collision Custom and Restoration 125. That'll get taking place here very shortly after the heats and the B mains. But let's talk points now that we've got 3 in the books for 3 consecutive weeks in a row, Dakota. This guy's won at least 1 race every week and has put up more than 104 points total per race. Ricky Arbeau, the man way out front right now, 324 points to his name. He sits on the front. In 2nd position in the 98 car, Steve Matthews, one of the favorites here tonight. Didn't do so good at Lanier, but he bounced back at Martinsville, and then he rebounded last week and won at New Smyrna. He's sitting 2nd, 277 total in points.
Ronald McKay, he's just not able to have those finishes he needs in the feature races, it seems like, but 269 points. I think his worst race was 74 points at Lanier, and that's not a very bad stat to have. In 3rd position, right, and in 4th position we have Ryan McIntosh. He usually drives the 03. He's only got 267 points. He's only 2 points behind Ronald McKay, so I mean he's right there in striking distance for 3rd position.
One of the guys representing New Brunswick, Eastern Canada, Mark Williams in the 24 car. He sits 5th in points, Dakota. Really good week for him last week at New Smyrna, best finish of the year. And then you've got Mike Rhino in the 34, who's starting to claw his way up into the top 5. He sits 6th.
And tied with 6th position. Mike Ryan. It was Carter Wilson all the way in 7th position, 259 points total. He had a great race. I'm telling you, it was one of the best I've seen from him yet, and that was last week at New Smyrna Raceway. And in 8th position, we have Martin Landry, usually driving the number 20 machine, with 242 points.
Another man representing New Brunswick, Eastern Canada, Tracy Foster in the 2. The Deuce sits 9th in points. He did a really good job at Lanier, Dakota, but then he started to go downhill from there. He went to Martinsville, only racked up 71 points. And then he kind of rebounded a little bit last week to a degree. He only picked up 76. He sits 9th in points. And then the man who's going to start on the pole in heat race number 1 here tonight, the 48 car of Jake Goodwin, who sits 10th in points.
And starting on the pole in heat race number 1 obviously means you are the fastest car in practice. So Jake Goodwin, as Keeton's saying, is the fastest car in practice currently.
Yeah, you know, we've seen a lot of that this year so far. I know we're 4 races young into this MIRL League here in Dakota, but Jake Goodwin, for the most part, week in, week out, is quickest on the board. But, you know, if you take a look at his points here in 10th spot, he's racked up 74 at Lanier, and then only 86 at Martinsville and 75 at New Smyrna. So he's got to do good here tonight at South Boston to get up into the top 5 and maybe pick up a championship.
Yeah, he's not had much luck, and I believe it was Jake Goodwin going around quite a few times, involved in a lot of incidents last week. Just luck not on his side right now.
And of course, to his outside right, going to start beside him, Kevin Savory. And then Craig McDonald in the 9 machine going to start 4th. 3rd belongs to the 22, though, of Keith Mack, Dakota.
Yes, I'm going to look for, I believe it's 5th position. 6th position, excuse me. Should be, as I'm looking here, 5th is Nathan Doherty and Doug Hubley.
And then Martin Landry back there in the 20 Chevrolet and the 50 of Blake Cullicutt. And then the 08 of Craig Weigel.
And I believe that will be the last spot on the track as Jake Goodwin looks the field here across the line. We should have 1 lap to go with Tim Terry actually coming around the rear of the field, I do believe.
And also looking for the 51 car. That belongs to Trevor McLean, or McLean. I do not see him. I think he is behind the garage, so it looks like Tim Terry will bring up the tail end of this one. Heat race number 1 at South Boston. Green flag, and the Chevrolet that belongs to the 48 of Jake Goodwin takes this green flag racing.
A great restart by Jake Goodwin. The 88, though, right outside of Keith Mack. That's Kevin Savory. He's going to be able to clear Keith Mack and get right in front of him and hold the bottom line there and able to pull away. 88 gets a great drive off the corner there, Keaton. So
the race to transfer in has just seen its nightmare. The 50 Blake Cullicutt, who sits now 10th, and the 44 of Doug Hubley, who now sits 9th. So right now, Tim Terry controls that 8th position, and that's the transfer spot, Dakota. Tim started dead last, but those 2 guys, Blake Cullicutt and wrecked himself, so now Tim Terry's in that transfer spot.
Yeah, but I don't know that that's secure. At least I believe it was Cullicutt. I can still make that up for the way Craig Weigel and I believe that is Martin Landry are racing. They almost took each other out more than once there. That's just right in front of Tim Terry.
The good news is, Dakota, both of the 2 guys that made up 10 drivers are now on pit road, and that means Tim Terry, who sits 8th, basically all he's got to do is just keep the engine running, and he transfers in.
Yeah, doesn't have to run on pace, just turn left.
Now we've got a little battle here, Dakota. Heating up for 3rd as the 9 of Craig McDonald pushes 22 Keith Mack out of the way for the position. That's South Boston 4th style racing there.
Keith Mack back from a long vacation. I believe it was just a 1-week vacation, but he is back in the Maritime Iracing League. And up front, Jake Goodwin has set sail. He is gone. Quite a bit of a gap back to 2nd position here in Kevin Savory, and as you mentioned, Craig McDonald moving up to 3rd, Keith Mack in 4th, and Nathan Doherty in 5th.
Now Jake Goodwin is representing Amherst, Nova Scotia, Eastern Canada, I kid a lot of these guys as we have a wreck here. Craig Weigel spins around on the back stretch there. But I kid these guys about calling them Canadians and Canada, being from Canada. But every one of these guys here tonight from Eastern Canada, and these guys know how to drive late models, Dakota.
I see what you did there. But I thought you was going to say something about all you thought Canadians could do was watch hockey.
Yeah, but they're doing a good job out here on this racetrack. Heat race number 1 almost in the books. White flag in the air for the 48 machine of Jake Goodwin, who started from the pole and is looking like he'll win this thing. And a good starting spot for that feature that's coming up here, the A-Main, the Overall Collision Custom and Restoration 125. That'll be getting ready here very soon. It's the 48 car, picks up the checkered flag.
Kind of a small race. There wasn't a lot of action, but we do know in the main race that tends to pick up, and things tend to change.
Yeah, well, Dakota, you know, you got to think these guys have to be patient, and at some point they would have to be aggressive. And as I mentioned and pointed out, Tim Terry was in that 8th position transfer spot. The other 2 guys had wrecked themselves, so it basically allowed for a smooth race and a not so aggressive type situation where you're having someone trying to get into the A-Main. So good job for these guys, and they'll got to be patient now, and they'll watch heat race number 2 that's going to be coming up here momentarily, and then heat 3, and then one heck of a B-Main that we've got in store for the guys and fans.
And how about Ronald McKay is set to lead this one, as he was the 2nd fastest in practice. Which is pretty cool for Ronald. Remember, I believe he's won at least 2 heat races in the last few weeks, so he's got these heat races down. It's just getting him to that feature race win is still tricking him a little bit.
So you are watching the ETV Live, full coverage of the MIRL Racing League. Again, ETV powered by HD Radio Network. Heat race number 2. They're getting ready for the grid here, Dakota, and looks like the number 97 machine of Ronald McKay is going to lead the pole here, and the 61 of Ricky Arbeau, a man who's won every single week thus far on the outside. Yeah,
without a doubt, and I believe it should be either Carter Wilson or Dylan Deval. Robert Lee is going to be in the 3rd position with the 53. Not actually quite sure the 53 as it is. Stefan Arsenault, will be in the 4th position.
21 machine of Sean Pierce going to start on that row 3 on the inside to his outside. Vic Greenwood in the number 11.
Mike Rayburn will start on the inside of the next row with, I believe it is Mike Rhino on his outside.
And what appears to be the 12 machine of Jeff Gilmet, bringing his Chevrolet up to the field here. And then the number 4 car of Jean-Paul Arsenault.
And I believe Sean Waterfield will be rounding out the field here. Not sure, as I believe they're actually kind of mixing up the lineups. They're still kind of getting lined up here, so it's going to take us just a few minutes to get rolling here. But I want to go ahead and go down to pit road here and talk to, I believe it's Aaron Groskoff. Yeah, talk to him real fast to see what he's thinking about what this race is going to be like. Will we see more action than what we saw last race? Will these guys have more knowledge of what the track's going to be like and what the racing's going to be like, or are they just going to kind of be like what was last race as we roll here?
Well, I think we'll see more because they got to see how everything shook out in the first race. But you never know. You know, that first race was kind of easy for a lot of guys, except that wreck there near the transfer spot. But we'll see here.
Dakota, what I'm keeping an eye on here as I look through the field, Jean-Paul Arsenault in that number 27th position, fastest on the practice field right now, but he's in the number 4 car. What I'm looking at is his speed during practice, and I'm also looking at the transfer spot. He's right there near it. He's got 8th place right in front of him, and sitting in 8th right now would be Vic Greenwood that's on the outside, but Mike Rhino's there, and the 23 car, Sean Waterfield. So the 4 guys here in the back, and Jarrett Butcher now making his way onto the surface here, so he is in this race. But there's 4 cars that have a chance to be shut out here as we go green.
McKay getting a good restart. He's got the 61 right on the outside. Ricky Arbeau's not going anywhere. He almost gets spun. Ricky Arbeau saves it. He's going to be able to come back right, almost clear the 41. Outside, they're going to be too wide heading to the next corner. Ricky Arbeau getting a great advantage going wide in the corner. He will be able to hold off for 2nd position and try to run down. I believe that is Ronald McKay.
As it stands, John Paul Arsenault is the man that is in the transfer spot, and now he spins. The 4-car spins, and he is now out of it. Dakota, as I just mentioned it, that he was into the transfer position, he spun and has caused a big wreck in the front stretch, and now that shakes some things up.
It's highly unfortunate for
Ricky Arbeau.
Slow car on the inside stopped, and Ricky Arbeau had to check up so he didn't run him over. It seemed like maybe getting a little scared. He just got run over from behind.
And now it appears that Ronald McKay is in that lead, and then behind him Robert Lee, who runs second, but he's about a half of a car length, maybe a little bit more of a car length behind the leader here, Ronald McKay.
Yeah, I do believe Ricky Arbeau, either way, has the he should have a provisional in the race, so I don't think you can count him out yet, as he is the points leader currently. Didn't fare too bad last season, also in the points. But Robert Lee kind of closing in on Ronald McKay for the lead here. Kind of wondering what's going to happen here if Robert Lee can catch him. We should be halfway crossing the finish line this time. Ricky Arbeau slowing almost making contact with Ricky Arbeau. Ronald McKay going to lose a little bit of time to Robert Lee, but not much, because there goes McKay.
Dakota, there's 9 drivers on the racetrack right now, and only 8 get in. I couldn't tell you who the transfer is, but there's 9 drivers. We're trying to get confirmation on exactly who is in that 8th spot and who is in that 9th spot. But again, 9 drivers right now on the racetrack, only 8 getting in.
Well, I want to say it's not Ricky Arbeau. Just the way his car was, there's no way. I mean, he's the only car I think I've seen the leaders pass so far. And he keeps me off the pace there.
Ricky Arbeau down pit road here, Dakota. He could be that 9th position driver that we just talked about. As he goes a couple of laps down, he's going through the pits here. He's keeping it off the racing surface with 2 laps to go. Ronald McKay appears to have got this one in the bag if he can hold off.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't spin it using an apron too much, as the white flag is out for Ronald McKay. Robert Lee running second. Mike Rhino in third, coming off of turn number 4, and I believe it should be Sean Waterfield in 4th position, going back up to the leader though. Here comes Ronald McKay through 3 and 4 for the final time of this heat race, and he will once again claim another heat race in his name. He's going to cross for the checkered flag here, Michael Keeton.
Absolutely, and heat race number 2 belongs to Ronald McKay, as you mentioned, and going to try to get confirmation on exactly who is out of this. Only 9 drivers that we mentioned. I think that Ricky Arbeau could have been put towards the back here.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I do know that we have Ronald McKay on the radio after winning heat race number 2. Ronald, you've won multiple heat races here before. You've won them before, you've won them again, and you're in victory lane right now, kind of getting ready for that feature race. Are you kind of more excited going to the feature race? Can you do something with them tonight?
Well, I think it's going to be survival to the fittest here tonight. We had some updates on our tires and stuff this week on the cars, and it made them a bit of a handful to drive, so everybody's kind of fighting it. You know, we'll just see what happens here. At least we're up front. We can fall in line wherever we fall there as once the green comes out, and just run some laps and hopefully stay out of trouble, because this is a tight little track. It's a lot of fun to race on, but these cars are a handful here tonight.
What exactly is the secret to getting around this track? I saw you using quite a bit of the apron when we was watching you for a little bit. Is that what you've got to do to be fast here? Or?
Yeah, you gotta remember not to overdrive the entry is the big thing, and once you get that and get the car rolling through the middle, and just get back on the fuel as quick as you can, and like you say, stay down on the bottom, keep the left sides as close to that yellow line as you can, and just hopefully it'll come up off the corner. But there's a fine line making a turn in the middle and not getting too free up off. So hopefully we have something for that, and we'll see what happens.
And last week we saw the high line did come into effect later into the race, making it rather interesting. Will we see that tonight in the feature race, or not quite so much?
Yeah, the high line is actually not bad here, especially on the restarts. If you can pinch the guy down a little bit and take his line away from him through the middle and up off, you got a really good chance of getting by him here. So late in the race with laps on the tires and stuff, being up front on the bottom may or may not be the best place to be. It all comes down to the restarts, but the top will work. You can go there, and you're going to have to tonight. There's a lot of cars here, and it's not going to be easy to get through the traffic.
All right, well, thank you, Ronald. We wish you the best of luck going into the feature race, 125 laps. It will be an interesting one.
Okay, boys, thanks very much.
There you have it from Ronald McKay.
Heat 3 now getting fired up here at Dakota. Stephen Matthews going to start from the pole position. The 27 car of Carter Wilson going to start on the outside, and then row 2 makes up Mark Williams and the 15 of Mike Alexander. The 29th car of Dave Dyer, and the 2 car make up row 3 Tracy Foster. And that splits the field in half there, Dakota. There's 2, 4, 6 drivers in the front there.
Checking as we go green flag racing here. Sorry if we had a little bit longer than we expected, but Stephen Matthews taking the green flag. He's won a few of these heat races before. And again, last week's winner, right here, I do believe it is Stephen Matthews, as he's getting to the corners. Really great there. I see the run that he was talking about, or Ronald McKay was talking about, as he kind of diamond the corner, as you might say. In that number 98 machine. We have a battle back here for second position. The 27 on the outside of 24. That's Carter Wilson and Mark Williams. The Carter Wilson, no stranger to that outside line. Now we'll see how well it works here, and whether we can see it on later. It looks like Carter Wilson just going backwards, trying to use that outside line right now. So, as I said, he's side by side with Mike Alexander, not quite giving up the spot as they head through. I believe it's turns number 3 and 4. Carter Wilson will have it at the line, but will he have it? I don't know. It's hard to say.
While that battle shapes up, the battle for the 8th spot and transfer starts to heat up. The 38 car of Travis Roma, he's sitting in that 8th spot. He's got Don Steves in the 01 behind him, the 72 of George White, the 64 of Justin Doucette, and then Brandon Campbell's back there. So these guys are trying to make their way into the transfer spot. Now the 38 looking underneath the Dave Dyer machine in the 29 car.
I'm still watching this battle up here for, I believe this is, I want to say 3rd position. It is 3rd position. Mike Alexander and Carter Wilson up there still going at it. Carter Wilson finally going back to the inside. He's going to drop in line behind Mike Alexander and just quit trying to use the outside lane, try to hold off as many spots as he can so he has the best starting position he could possibly have when they go into feature race.
Just a little over halfway here, Travis Roma in the 8th transfer spot, still hanging on to it. The Steves machine in the 01 car gets a little loose coming out of turn 2, going down the backstretch. Going to lose a little bit of momentum there, Dakota. Still no change for the 8th transfer spot into the A-main to the feature event here tonight. It's the overall collision custom and restoration 125 set for 125 laps.
Yep, Stephen Matthews is leading them with 2 laps to go at the finish line. Here comes Stephen Matthews off of turn number 4. So we have a car in the wall right in front of him, almost taking it out. Car turned around right in front of Stephen Matthews. That was Brandon Campbell. Big time trouble for that number 66 machine that was in the back of the field, almost a lap down. So unfortunate for him, but the leader is not caught up in that. 1 to go. White flag is out for the leader at the finish line. Stephen Matthews coming around.
And as long as a 38 Chevrolet of Travis can get this car through turn 4 here safely, and he does, he will transfer into the A-main. And the 01 of Don Steves will have to race his way in the B-main. So will George White and Justin Doucette, and of course Campbell.
And we'll see if we can get Stephen Matthews on the radio here just after winning that heat race. And I believe we have him. Stephen Matthews, you won heat number 3. You've also won a few heat races, and you won last week in the feature race. Is this maybe another repeat?
Oh, I hope so, big guy. I feel pretty good about the setup I have here for tonight, and I just got to ride around here. It's a lot of cars here tonight. It's going to be pretty congested.
Ronald McKay said you can use the outside lane just a little bit, but we weren't quite able to see it as Carter Wilson was up there for the longest time and could not get around him. What is your thoughts on trying to get around everybody on the outside lane?
Oh, no, I like the high side, just like New Smyrna. I made it work there, and I think I can make it work here.
All right, Stephen, and do you think you've really got something for him in this final race, or is it going to be running for a top 5?
Oh, it's gonna be a fun one, boys.
All right, thank you, Stephen, and we'll let you get back down there and get back to practicing for the feature race that is coming up just momentarily, Keeton.
Yeah, the B main, and of course, again, you're watching the South Boston Speedway race that's presented to you by Overall Collision Custom and Restoration, and they're sponsoring the 125 here that's getting set after the B main is finished. And of course, one of these B main races, Dakota, they're always fun and interesting to watch. You never know who can win. It doesn't matter if you start on the pole, and it really doesn't matter if you start in the back of the field. There's only one winner, and he advances into the A main and to the feature. So I guess these guys are getting practiced up here, and we'll be seeing a B main race here shortly.
Yes, the B main is extremely exciting. Everybody's looking forward to it. But for us here at ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network, the leader in sim broadcasting, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Alright, and welcome back to South Boston Speedway. I'm Dakota Ehrman, joined by Michael Keeton, Aaron Grosskopf, John Westling, JD Webb, and I believe Phil Foltz is also hanging around with us. After witnessing the first three heats, we're preparing for the B main, which should be coming up momentarily. I believe they're working on setting up the field. Keeton, what an exciting event, and can't wait for this B main to get rolling.
Yeah, the B main is going to be exciting, and the B main, of course, brought to you by Inside Sim Racing, sponsoring the Thursday night Real Sim Racing Series. Inside Sim Racing, your first and best choice for the all news and reviews and online motorsports. Join Darren Ganji and Sean Cole for the latest and greatest in product reviews, simulation, auto racing games for the computer and Xbox, from steering wheels to full-size racing rigs, updates on the popular racing games, and a whole lot more, Dakota. Inside Racing has it all. Inside Sim Racing today at isrtv.com. And again, brought to you into the B main here that's going to be taking place very soon, which is going to have a couple of drivers in here, Dakota. that are going to be trying to fight and claw their way into this feature set for 125 laps at South Boston.
Yeah, I believe they are preparing to set the field here at South Boston Speedway in the Maritime Iracing League. It's getting closer, Keeton.
And of course, also, if you haven't checked out the new ETV website, etv-eplay.net, the 2013 lineup is full in gear for the most part. Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can check out the Real Sim Racing Full Throttle Cup Series, sponsored again for the second year in a row by Bob Racing. And of course, that starts actually February 25th, the day after, the Monday night after the Daytona 500. Tuesday night's jacked up with the ETV Live Team Series Racing, sponsored by HD Radio Network, on Tuesday night at 9. Wednesday night at 7, you're watching it right now, the Maritime iRacing Short League late model Eastern Canadian style racing, 7 o'clock. Thursday night, 9:30, Real Sim Racing Asphalt Assault Series, sponsored by the Inside Sim Racing TV Group. And of course, Friday nights at 8, the Super Speedway Club Series.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that. The Speedway Series, it's going to be me and Steven Zinni in the broadcast booth. I believe we're talking with Brandon Wilkinson might be joining us on Pit Road. That's something that's still in the talks. Possibly you'll want to tune in and check out that. That's going to be one of the more interesting Super Speedway things we've done, I think, or for a season, hopefully. At least that is the hope again. But as I want to say, as we're getting set to grid here, or get ready to roll here, have the field almost lined up. Keeton, it's almost time to go. Was just new set. Campbell, I believe, also rolling up. But leading them off should be Don Steves and Vic Greenwood.
Second row, that number 21 machine, Sean Pierce, to his outside, the 44 of Doug Hubley.
George White and Dylan Deval will make up the next row with Dylan Deval on the inside.
Sean Waterfield in that 23 car, and also the 64 machine who's just pulled up alongside him, Justin Doucette.
I believe Brandon Campbell rolling around here in the last position as the field gets set to roll here. We are rolling. It will be, I believe, one to go once we get around to the line, if I'm correct.
And this is a 20-lap shootout, Dakota, and no caution. So the 01 of Don Steves is sitting in pretty good shape here, leading the field here. He can kind of go when he wants, and he's got the momentum. But these guys are going to be clawing and chasing their way to catch him. So you got to think, is he in a good position?
He might be. I think he was one of the first ones that actually was able to finish a race, or finish the race and was competitive, but missed that transfer spot. I think he's the guy to watch right now. I mean, if you remember, it was I don't remember who beat him out, but he was 9th position, racing right with 8th position as the green flag is out. Don Steves gets a great jump. He's going to leave the outside hanging, diving into turn number 1. He gets a pretty good gap. Looks like the 21 maybe closing a little bit. He wiggles and he saves it. And he's holding on to it as he heads into turn number 3. The 3 wide. Dylan Deval on the inside. Dylan Deval might be able to sneak away with 2nd position just right there. Remember, the winner here transfers into the A main, the feature race. Dylan Deval closes it on Don Steves rather quickly here.
Absolutely. Dylan Deval is a man on a mission. He's in 2nd. Now he's looking for 1st, and he's getting a little bit shaky coming out of turn 4. Keeps the right front stable on the racetrack, keeps it under condition, but he's right there on the leader.
He almost lost it coming off, I believe that was 4, like you said. He almost lost it and was able to save it, like you said. That was a really nice save by Dylan Deval, getting right on the bumper. Don Steves, he throws it into the inside. This guy did not run a practice race. He didn't run any of the heat races, so this is his only race in the car right now as he's going. He knows he has to win if he wants to get in, and that's what he's doing. He's throwing the car down there on the inside, getting a little loose. He's going to be able to hold off the spot. Dylan Deval, the new leader, is the 21. Creeping in behind him, I do believe the 21 is Vic Greenwood, with Don Steves back there as well. And that's actually Sean Pearson, the 21, excuse me.
So the man out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, Eastern Canada, has taken over the lead, and he's in turn 1, and he's got Pierce behind him, and the 01 of Don Steves, who had led this race to begin with, now has fallen back to 3rd.
Yes, looks like he's coming back on the inside of Sean Pierce. Sean Pierce hits the wall, makes contact with Don Steves just a little bit. Don Steves going to be a little woed up, but not much. Here comes Vic Greenwood following Steves. Not quite able to get there. Steves gets a good run through the straightaway. He's going to lose a lot of time going on the entry. Dylan Deval is liking this. He has ran away with the lead currently.
Yeah, now it's going to be a matter of who can catch Deval and Dakota. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch Dylan. He's about a half of a turn away. Vic Greenwood's still working on the 01 of Don Steves in turn 4. Meanwhile, the 42 checking out, nearly 2 turns away, coming off on turn 2 out of the backstretch.
And this is a 20-lap race with Don Steves getting really sideways up that corner. 20-lap race though, and like you said, the Tim's Corner, I believe it was a Wheel Stamp Pro Tim's Corner car, the 42. Dylan Deval has ran away, like you said. I don't think they can catch him really. It's going to be hard with the gap that he has right there.
So right now, Dylan Deval stands to be that 12th man, if you will, or the 7th man, and on an ice hockey rink, the 7th man, the 12th man on the football field, but the 7th man. He stands to be the 7th man on the ice when it comes to the feature here, halfway at South Boston Speedway in the B main. And then don't you go nowhere, because we've got the overall collision custom and restoration 125 that will be coming up after this.
That is one you do not want to miss, 125 laps at South Boston Speedway. If you have never really had fun with South Boston, you never thought that this was a racetrack, really, then you got to watch this 125 lapper. It's going to be the one that I think changes my mind. I think there was a few tracks we've been to that I haven't been too psyched about. We get through there, we broadcast the race with these guys, and they just make the racing insanely exciting. It's fun to watch, and it changes your whole perspective on the track.
Absolutely. 42, Dylan Deval. Now he gets into the wall a little bit there to go on the front stretch. You got to wonder if that's going to hurt his right front there, but he's got the lap car down behind him, Brandon Campbell. And then Don Steves, who's now sitting in second, still being worked on by the 11 of Vic Greenwood, but he's nearly a straightaway ahead, Dakota. I don't think Deval's got too much to worry about as they work a little bit over halfway now.
If you watch Deval, I think he may be the loosest car on track that has been at least all night. I think he looks like a lot like Tim Terry was last week. Extremely sideways. And I mean, if you watch this guy, just watch him come to the middle of the corner, coming off the corner. It just seems like he wiggles a lot. Not quite right there, but it's occasionally he's just wiggling like he just can't hold on to the thing there. It seems.
Well, you know what they always say: they're gonna loose is fast. But the question would be is, can you hang on to it?
Yeah, I think the true saying should be, a loose is fast until you wreck it.
Yeah, because the wreck car's slow. But Dylan Deval not having any of that right now with 5 laps to go for this time by. He's the man out front, and he's got this one in the books as long as he doesn't turn it around.
That depends on how you wreck it there, Keeton. But 2 laps to go. Dylan Deval coming through the corner off of turn number 2. He should get the white flag this time, as long as he hits his marks. This is Dylan Deval's race, and he will transfer to the feature race. With the white flag being out, remember, he is one of those guys that wants to get some points. He was up front for a little while, Mr. Racer 2, due to a suspension, I believe, and he is back. Dylan Deval will take the white flag, working through, I believe this is turns 1 and 2, coming off of 2. He will go straight to the backstretch, sideways. There's actually, that was the checkered flag. I got this all wrong.
Yeah, Dylan Deval, Dakota, sitting back in 20th in points, and I believe it was Martinsville, where either he got some participation points, but he only racked up 25, and that really hurt him. Of course, last week only racking up 60. But the kicker's going to be here tonight at South Boston, as he has transferred his way in to the overall collision custom and restoration 125. And this is your preferred collision custom paint and restoration shop in the Dartmouth, Halifax area of Eastern Canada. And man, I tell you, also too, I want to make mention that Travis Roman, that 38, works for overall. And I tell you, he transferred in from the heat race number 2, so that makes his boss pretty happy.
Hopefully. But joining us in the booth or over the radio, Dylan Deval, winner of the B main. He will transfer to the feature race. Dylan, what a race, and what a way to end it going into that feature race.
Yeah, thanks. My internet decided it was going to be difficult on me tonight and go out right before I was supposed to line up for my heat race, so kind of got stuck in that B main, and thankfully came out of it clean.
And Dylan, how did you handle that car? I think I saw you every time I saw you go through the corner. You were sideways every time we tried to put the camera on you, though. Not so much.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to drive in the world. Let's just say that it's pretty on edge. I don't think the setup's the way it needs to be for the race, but we'll see.
Now, can you climb through traffic with that thing as sideways as it is, or will you likely be out before lap 20?
Well, I'm going to hope not to be out by lap 20, but I'll just try to slowly make my way up through the field. No reason to push the issue, really just try to stay out of the wrecks. There's sure to be a couple at the beginning. It doesn't look like I'm the only one who was pretty loose.
Alright, thank you, Dylan. We wish you the best of luck in the feature race.
Thanks, Dakota.
And there you have it from our B main winner.
Of course, that interview was brought to you by Gary Mercer Trucking. Who better than Gary Mercer Trucking to pick up your load? Hey, get a real truck to haul it. Sponsoring drivers in several iRacing official series, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated provides the long and the short haul options for hauling furniture, perishables, even refrigerated products, and a whole bunch more with storage facilities in the U.S. and Canada. CTPAT approved and fast express drivers. Gary Mercer and Truck Incorporated is the best choice to haul your load. Give the old pickup a rest and call Gary Mercer Trucking at 800-668-2980 or check them out at gmercer.com.
Alright, thank you, Keeton of Gary Mercer Trucking. Check them out. But we're going to go ahead, step away, take one more quick commercial break. Again, this is the ETV Live presented by the HD Radio Network, the leader in sim broadcasting.
Hey dude, are you ready to rock and roll? If that's cool, then you need to do it over at HD Radio Network. HD Radio Network, 4 stations broadcasting 24/7 with everything from metal favorites to the 80s classic rock like legendary Leonard Skinner, Electric Light Orchestra, Foreigner, and bone-rattling, skull-crushing rock and roll on hard driving radio. Bear Factory, Stone Temple Pilots, Def Leppard, and a whole lot more. HDRadionetwork.com. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Alright, and welcome back to South Boston Speedway. Again, I am Dakota Erman, joined by Michael Keeton, Aaron Grosskopf. J.D. Webb is up there with John Wessling, and Phil Foltz kind of hanging around. I believe Jerry Wolf is somewhere running around with his mobile phone trying to play with it. I don't know. But back at South Boston Speedway, getting ready to have these guys go ahead and just kind of run around just to do it, really.
Absolutely, Dakota, and this is the overall collision custom and restoration 125. This is it, Dakota. This is what everybody's been waiting on. Now the qualifying's taking place right now, and they've got special qualifying rules here tonight. So we should see qualifying complete very soon. And we also should see the 48 machine, Jake Goodwin, start this race on the pole.
Yeah, it should be Goodwin on pole. I believe it should be Stephen Matthews will be up there, McKay will be up there. Those should be the top three in that order. It should be actually should be Jake Goodwin starting on the pole, Ronald McKay second, and Stephen Matthews third. But after that, I cannot quite confirm it.
Of course, Dakota, there's only one winner. Just like there was only one winner in the B main, there's only one winner here that advances to the victory lane circle here tonight, and a couple of guys who have been able to get that award is Ricky Arbeau, who won the first race at Lanier, and then Ricky Arbeau, who won the second race at Martinsville, and then Stephen Matthews last week at New Smyrna. Who's going to be the man tonight? Will it be Ronald McKay? Can things go his way? He won the heat race number 2 here tonight. Can it go his way, or could it go Jake Goodwin's way here tonight?
Really, you don't know. It's going to be exciting to watch. I don't think we'll see much for the first 75 laps. With this last 50, everybody will have the best handle on the track they've had all weekend or all week. So I think that's when we'll see all of the racing action start. They'll know what they can do with the cars. They'll know what to do with the cars and how to make it racy here. Michael Keeton.
And of course, points, just to run you back to the top 5, Ricky Arbeau's out front, Stephen Matthews second, Ronald McKay third, Ryan McIntosh fourth, and then Mark Williams, who's sitting there in fifth, Dakota. And points could be shaken up here. Ricky Arbeau not in this event here tonight, so actually he is in this event. He's just starting in the very back. Ricky Arbeau, of course, getting wrecked out in one of the heats.
Unfortunately, but he will be. He should be in the event due to that provisional.
Well, we're going to go ahead and step aside and allow the beautiful rendition of the Canadian anthem to be presented to you. And when we return, 125 laps in the overall collision custom and restoration 125 brought to you by the MIRL.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons' command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Alright, and we're back, and gonna go ahead and I believe we're gonna go ahead and throw it down for the command.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Alright, we're back here at South Boston Speedway. Jake Goodwin will be rolling off from the pole here after winning heat number 1 and being top of the board in practice. He has the ultimate track position, or the best spot on the track right now. Ronald McKay will be on his outside in second position, Michael Keeton.
Bringing up road number 2, Stephen Matthews in the 98 Chevrolet to his outside, the 88, the 88 of Kevin Savory.
Robert Lee starting in the 5th position with Mark Williams in the 24 on his outside.
Keith Mack in the double deuce. The 22 rolls off 7th to his outside. The number 34 machine starting 8th, Mike Rhino.
Mike Alexander in the 9th position of the 15 machine, and on the outside of him, Craig McDonald in the 9 machine.
Jarrett Butcher. Can he butcher his way through the field tonight? We'll find out. He rolls off 11th and to his outside, the number 6 machine of Nathan Daugherty.
Stefan Arsenault in the number 53 machine will be 13th, and Tracy Foster in 14th position.
15th rolling off is the 20 machine of Martin Landry. To his outside right, the 14 Chevrolet out of Eastern Canada, Mike Rayburn.
How about Chuck Morehouse in 17th in the 18 machine, and on his outside, the one and only Tim Terry.
The number 12 rolls off 19th tonight. That's Jeff Gilmet. And to his outside, Dave Dyer in the 29 machine.
Craig Weigel in 21st position with Ricky Arbeau going in on a provisional in 22nd position.
Carter Wilson in the 27th car. Also going to roll out onto the field.
I believe it's going to be a... Yeah, Deval and Wilson will race as they were in. I believe Vic Greenwood and Travis Roma will race in Doug Hughley. These cars were all locked in but did not choose to take a time, or actually asked to be started in the back of the field. As the pace car is rolling here, we'll be set to go green flag racing. I believe it might be next time by.
125 laps set for the books here in the overall collision custom and restoration 125. You can also check them out
as the field paces the middle of 3 and 4. Michael Keeton kind of disappearing, running for a hot dog or something of the sort before the race gets started. I would too. As the pace car goes off, Jake Goodwin not quite going to roll. He's going to roll a little late. It's going to confuse Ronald McKay. Here comes Jake Goodwin on the inside, heading to turn number 1. Oh, side by side. Ronald McKay on the outside, kind of hanging in there really tough. There goes McKay to the outside. Almost cleared Goodwin there on the outside as they're still rolling through turns. Number, I believe it says 3 and 4. Yeah, it was 3 and 4 as McKay is still on the outside. I think that 1 and 2 might be where they need to make the pass work on the outside, but McKay going to have to jump in line. Here comes Matthews to the inside. He's looking for the inside. Not quite able to get there. Goodwin still has the lead heading off of turn number 2.
Hey, don't knock a Canadian hot dog until you try one, Dakota. You're right. Ronald McKay was on the outside of Goodwin. I thought maybe he was going to clinch the lead, but couldn't quite do it. And Jake Goodwin continues to lead here as caution comes out for the first time. Back in Tim Terry land in 19th position. The 99 car being turned around in turn 1. Not the way Tim's night wanted to go.
Poor Tim. Just nowhere to go. I think he just kind of drove it in, like he backed up the corner, was on the outside trying to give room, and the 29 there, I'm not sure who was in that 29, let me check here. I believe the 29, Dave Dyer, just running over and moving up the track like he pushed and had nowhere to go. And I know Tim Terry rather upset in the car or on the radio, as I heard. Kind of excited he made at least 3 laps though.
Absolutely, and you know, looking back here in second position, Ronald McKay from Sydney, Nova Scotia. Dakota, he was stuck on that outside, and but it looked like that Ronald was okay with that. Like Ronald knows how to drive that second lane up there if there is one. Jake Goodwin also, you know, props to him for staying low, keeping his line, and staying out of the way, you know.
I believe it was Stephen Matthews and Ronald McKay. We both spoke to both of them after their wins in the heat races, and they both said they like that high lane. I don't know that it'll work, but they're wanting to make it work either way.
Kevin Savory back here in 4th position in the 88 car. Robert Lee brings up into 5th spot. Robert started tonight's event in 5th. Still working that position in 5th, although the 22 car of Keith Mack is trying to take it over here during the pace lap as they're running side by side here. Might be looking at a bit of right front fender damage, possibly Dakota.
Not quite sure. Why don't we talk to Aaron Groskopf and see if we had any takers as we're getting double file, getting set to take the green flag in just about a lap.
The 08 car was on pit road. He got some fuel and tires, and hopefully that'll help him out here to make this final run.
Well, like, kind of confused me the way they lined up there, but they finally got lined up and they took the green flag. McKay and Goodwin making almost contact. If they did make contact, I'm rather shocked. McKay is on the outside. He's just kind of stuck there. Here comes Matthews to the inside. Goodwin is clear, and he has set sail. Matthews to the inside of McKay, still kind of hanging in there on that yellow line. He's sticking to it. McKay with the good runoff. Will he clear him? He's not quite going to clear him going into the corner. Maybe he will. He just won't have the runoff. Not sure. Here comes McKay once more. Stephen Matthews gets loose. McKay will hold off for second position.
Yeah, Matthews actually got below the yellow line there, Dakota, and made that car a little uneasy. And as you saw, 98 of Matthews slipping back a little bit, and the 97 of Ronald McKay now, he gets to sit his car down low on that bottom racing surface where he's been wanting to be, and now he's going to set his sights on the 48 machine of Jake Goodwin, who's just ahead.
Yeah, but can you do anything with him? Remember, Goodwin was really stout in his heat race, but as was McKay. I don't know if we can count them out in either Stephen Matthews, because he won also. And the only guy I know that was able to challenge Matthews, it seemed like heavily, was Ricky Arbeau before Arbeau got turned around. So, and I do want to check in on Ricky Arbeau in 23rd position, all the way in the back of the field. He's just kind of riding around behind the two at Tracy Foster. I wonder if he's just trying to play it safe and slowly make up spots or what. Maybe he's just a little off the pace. Don't know. Unfortunate for Ricky, though, as he is the points leader heading into the night.
Looking back here at the battle for 10th spot, the number 9 machine of Craig McDonald getting underneath the Mike Rhino car, the 34 there. He falls back to 11th, and now McDonald has got Jarrett Butcher in the number 3 car just ahead as the 9 slips up the track. Here comes McDonald again underneath at a 4.
Yeah, looking for that action right there. As they're side by side, the 34 is underneath. He says caution on the speedway. Whoa. It's like Rhino should have a spot there. We will check in on that again in just a second, looking for the caution. Right in front of Tim Terry this time, right in front of Ricky Arbeau as well. Big, just mess of cars, it looks like. Yeah, at about 19th position. Travis Roma involved, but the wreck starts in front of him with, I believe this is the guy that was involved in the last wreck, Dave Dyer, making contact with Dylan Deval. Looks like he comes down and Deval just, I don't know, I don't want to say it was a racing deal, but it was just a mix of two people going for the line that wasn't there.
Tim Terry also involved with this one, Dakota. Tim just came through there like a snow plowing on a bright January snowy day in eastern Canada. Just pile drived him in there.
That Ricky Arbeau, he goes all the way down, goes through pit road, almost goes through pit road, excuse me, I thought he did. Almost goes through pit road, barely misses the wall, just so we can get past that.
No lucky dog here, because he was involved in the caution. So right now, Dakota, out of 27 drivers, 25 on the lead lap. The 25th position belongs to Craig Weigel in the 08 car. Right now, Travis Roma and the number 2 Chevrolet of Tracy Foster being the only two that's a lap down here early on at South Boston Speedway. 18, now 19 laps onto the board here, 125 laps. And the overall collision custom and restoration 125 event.
And again, this is ETV Live, powered by the HG Radio Network, the leader in sim broadcasting. We're going to go ahead and take one more quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. Back live at South Boston, green flag in the air. Jake Goodwin off to a pretty good start. Ronald McKay rolling the bumper. Stephen Matthews back there in third, just kind of hanging around there. Looks like McKay's just going to move the outside, not quite able to do anything with it. Looking for the run, but not quite going to have it going into the back or into the front stretch across the line there.
As we're back under green, here's Dakota mentioned. I want to go to Aaron Grosskopf, who's down working pit road for us tonight in the South Boston Speedway. Aaron, it's gotten a little bit busy down there, especially as of late with the big caution there and a lot of cars involved with that one. Tim Terry, Travis Roma looks like to be 6 laps down. What's the news and latest down on pit road?
Well, keep in mind, Keeton, you know, with this track being as small as it is, they have to come down twice to get 4 tires. There was a few cars that came down once, and there was 2 cars that came down twice. One of them being the 42 of Dylan Deval, and the 99 of Tim Terry came down to fix damage, and the I believe the 38 is still on pit road with massive damage to that car.
Thank you, again doing a great job on pit road, but we're back up front with the leaders. Just once again, Jake Goodwin's still up front. I don't know that Ronald McKay can challenge him because Stephen Matthews is not closing on McKay like he's going to do something with them. Not quite sure here. Keeton is, here goes Tim Terry running out of the way.
And of course, Jake Goodwin, I know it's early talk here, but Jake Goodwin is looking for that first win, that first feature win of the season. He's won a heat, but he has not won a feature.
Yeah, looking for the battle. I'm looking at the battle for 5th. Here's Kevin Savory. He's on the inside. He's actually battling for 4th position. He's going to go around Robert Lee. These two are going back and forth at it for the last few laps, and Lee had it, and then he made contact. Mike Alexander got in the back of him, made contact, spun himself around, stuck on the inside. No caution quite yet. Looks like Mike Alexander just kind of drove in the corner a little bit too hard and just got the back of the 41 of Robert Lee there, but Robert will hold off this 5th position. And Savory will get away. Alexander still down on the bottom. Looks like he might be stuck. Caution flag is thrown by the admins. And again, the admins tonight being J.D. Laird and Tim Terry. Tim Terry doing his work and driving at the same time. But again, thank you, J.D. Laird, for doing a great job with the admin work and a great call with that caution. The caution being Mike Alexander being stuck on the inside, the pit wall. I don't know why they're not just pulling the car off the track. There he goes. Slowly getting the car rolled around here.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him, Dakota. I think already 1 lap down there. He'll have to come down pit road more than likely. He might be even trapped down 2 laps. But like you mentioned, he just got on the brakes kind of late and got in the corner too hard. It looked like maybe he was trying to give a little bit of a nudge to the guy in front of him and ended up spinning himself out. 2 laps down now, it's being shown for Mike Alexander. And the lucky dog participant here, Tracy Foster, in the number 2 machine, is going to get his lap back. He should get back on the lead lap, and that puts 24 drivers on the lead lap to win it here tonight, South Boston Speedway.
And the average driver under green flag laps, they were hitting, let's just look at Ricky Arbeau. He was a 26.7, I believe that's counting the caution there, kind of getting involved. When you go back and you look up at the 15 of Mike Alexander, his last lap time after being put in the wall for about 2 laps, 1 minute and 4 seconds. That's a big difference. So that's what cost him 2 laps there and possibly almost a 3rd.
Yeah, and that's a man that I'm keeping my eye out on here tonight, guys. The 61 of Ricky Arbeau. 61. Ricky Arbeau qualified 22nd here into the 22nd position, and he's already worked himself up into the 14th spot. Got a few more places to climb, but doing a mighty fine job right now.
Yeah, I think after what happened to him in the heat race, he knows there's a lot of time here, and he just wants to take it easy, kind of sneak up to the front and gradually do it, be safe, and not wreck the car, and that's what he's doing. He's doing a great job of it, too.
Of course, the 03 machine that belongs to Ryan McIntosh, who sits 4th in the points, Dakota, not able to race the A-main, the feature here tonight, so that's going to be tough news for him. Of course, the 98 machine, we're looking at Stephen Matthews. He's in 2nd in points, and he's up there in 3rd right now. And then also Ronald McKay, who sits 3rd in points, is 2nd on the racetrack. And then back in the 5th spot, 24 of Mark Williams. He's in 7th, 5th in points. And then finally 6th in points, Mike Rhino, the 30 Chevrolet, on the racetrack currently. Mike Rhino is 20th.
As the green flag is out, here comes Jake Goodwin. He's not got the restart. Here goes Ronald McKay to the outside. He's got the spot. Will he be able to clear him entirely? Ronald McKay, new leader, is going to have the spot. So we have somebody in the wall in the back. I don't know quite who that was. But looking up front here, I want to watch Jake Goodwin, see what he does trying to get around Ronald McKay real fast as Keeton goes back. And hopefully Keeton can find out who it was that wrecked on the restart there. Got the inside wall pretty hard. But watching up front, Ronald McKay has gotten around Jake Goodwin, and he is holding that inside. I think if you hold that inside, I don't know that there's much that Jake Goodwin can do. This caution has flown on the speedway. We'll figure out exactly what that was. Hearing 11th spot from Michael Keeton.
Yes.
Put together.
That's Chuck Morehouse coming into turn 3. Dakota, the 41 was right there. Robert Lee was underneath, or might have had a little bit of a nose underneath, but both drivers obviously going for the same piece of real estate. And at South Boston, real estate's very expensive and very small.
How about Ricky Arbo once again barely escaping? I mean, he was right there. We didn't ride on board with him on one of these restart or one of these saves or misses because that's more than once he's missed the wreck. And how about for the 3rd time in a row, Dave Dyer is involved in a caution. After the caution's over, he is turned around by, I believe that is the 12 machine. The 12 of Jeff Gill, unfortunately.
Just to update you on Ricky Arbo that you mentioned, Dakota, before that restart, he was in 14th spot. He escaped carnage there, able to keep that race car pretty clean. He's moved up to 13th. So, you know, Ricky's doing what he needs to do as far as putting himself in the position to win this championship. Like I mentioned, he pulled a back-to-back at Lanier and Martinsville, and then last week, of course, at New Smyrna, putting 104 points on the board, not doing a bad job there, and he's hanging on to the lead, but he's got Stephen Matthews and Ronald McKay who's starting to claw their way up towards him.
Yes, he did actually move up to 12th. Again, there's new scoring finalizing as we don't actually know with all this this mayhem, but he did move up to 12th position, so not bad for Ricky Arbo after starting all the way in the rear, as you said. Hopefully he can get back up there and, like you said, do it kind of calmly and slowly, try to miss these wrecks and all the mayhem and, you know, battle for this points lead. I mean, he's doing a great job so far. This is probably one of his worst weeks, though. He didn't win the heat race, so I mean, you got to say this is probably his worst week yet.
We mentioned the Full Throttle Series that's brought to you by Real Sim Racing earlier. For the 2012 series, Landon Huffman went home with the big prize, the cockpit, the virtual design by Bob Earl. This year, Bob Earl's back on board for the 2013 sponsor. You can check his website out at bobearlracing.com and look at his designs. Look at those cockpits. The guy knows exactly what he's doing. He's a championship race car driver. Bob Earl knows exactly what you want and what it's like to be behind a racing cockpit. Pick one up today at bobearlracing.com. Dakota, going back to green here, the 97 takes us to the green flag.
There goes Ronald McKay. He's got the restart this time, and again, this guy has been killer on restarts every week now. It seems like Ronald McKay is up on the wheel when it comes to restarts. As now Stephen Matthews is putting the pressure on Jake Goodwin on the inside. Matthews looking like he might have it. Here comes Goodwin back on the outside, side by side, almost touched doors, not quite. Matthews almost clear heading into turn number 3, I believe that is. And here comes Matthews, going to clear the 48 of Jake Goodwin.
Wednesday night short track racing at its best at South Boston Speedway. Just a little bit under a half of a mile long here, Dakota. Very short racetrack. Really one surface is the groove here as Jake Goodwin shows that the outside is not the lane you need to be in. It's the bottom. He finally got down to the bottom. Caution's out, but the 88 of Kevin Savory was looking underneath.
Yes, the caution is in 24th position. Tim Terry and Chuck Morehouse getting together. Unfortunate for Tim, but it looks like Tim just kind of, I don't know, it was, they got close like they was going for the same piece of real estate, and Tim Terry right next to the wall, not much he can do, maybe wiggle a little bit and getting into Chuck Morehouse it looks like, but Tim Terry and Chuck Morehouse get involved. So we have another wreck actually in front of that, the 14, the 2, the 41 involved, so there's multiple wrecks on the track here.
34's down the road, Aaron. He's got a lot of smoke. Can those crew members see exactly where that car's on pit lane with all that heavy black smoke?
I don't know, man. It's kind of smoky down there. I could barely see what's going on. What I've noticed, there's a lot of the same cars coming to pit road. I haven't seen a lot of the leaders. Basically, the 08 and the 42 are the only cars coming to pit road from what I've seen.
And I'll tell you what, I've actually located the source of that other wreck in that caution on lap 44. It is Robert Lee and Mike Rhino side by side for 12th position. It looks like I believe Lee comes right down in front of Rhino, and they just take out 2 or 3 guys there, maybe 4 or 5 actually, getting involved with nowhere to go right there. And Tim Terry and his little incident was maybe checking up or watching that in front of, or what was happening in front of them.
Ricky Timbo, Naso Rimbo. Our bow is up tonight, Dakota, and I'm going to tell you something. This guy is very, very easily, gradually making his way up to the front. He's got Carter Wilson in the 27 ahead of him and Craig McDonald in 7th. Ricky's in good shape here, guys.
He is in good shape. He's coming. He's really, I think he's got this place figured out. He's in a lot better shape than he was in that heat race where he was, the car was destroyed, to say the least. Maybe rolled out the backup, and it's obviously better than the main car is looking like, because he is coming to the front here, Keeton.
Looks like the lights are off. Pace car, Dakota. They're lining up side by side here. We're going to go back green. 49 laps on the books.
Yes, McKay checking up and then going again. It's here they go. The green flag is out. McKay gets a good restart. Gonna have, I believe, Stephen Matthews hanging on the outside. He's hanging right there with him. McKay not clearing Matthews. Matthews coming on the outside with a great run. Matthews may be able to clear him there. Not quite gonna clear him. Here comes McKay moving up. He's gonna go down the block. Jay Goodwin, side by side. There goes Matthews is clear. McKay in 2nd and Goodwin in 3rd.
Well, there you go. So put the man out of Halifax, Nova Scotia on the top leaderboard. It's the 98 machine of Matthews. Shows how it's done on the outside. Just a little bit of a pinch, like you'd get pinched on Sunday morning in church by your mother. Pinched Ronald McKay there a little bit as caution's back out.
And this one, I want to stop before I say anything. Yeah, 44, I'm seeing in about 17th position. Doug Hubley. I'm watching this. I think it might have happened in front of him actually. Because it was checking up for a wreck here. Yeah, there was a car. I believe it was Dave Dyer stuck on the inside wall there. They were checking up for it. It's Dave Dyer, and looking at this 14th position, he's making up a lot of ground for being spun out a lot. But he's side by side with looks like Dylan Deval. Deval just kind of runs into him, and yeah, Deval makes contact with him, and there goes Dyer into the inside wall. He's stuck in it. They just look like they're trying to check up for it and spin each other.
Mike Rhino. Aaron, what's the latest on the number 34 machine? We saw the smoke come down pit road. Is his day done?
I believe it will be. If not done, it's going to be a long race for him to ride in the back, because that car was destroyed from what I see. Oh, he did drop out. He is done. He just pulled his behind to the garage. They're packing up the hauler and heading home.
That's never a good sign, Dakota, when the left turn is made, not only to pit road, but the left turn that so many of us have made in our careers of iRacing, the left death turn down into the garage area.
Yeah, that is the I would say it's a turn of shame.
Yeah, the left turn of shame into the garage area went the number 34 machine of Mike Rhino.
That's a little dramatic pause there, Keeton. But at least we now have a new term we can use come later. I think we'll have to fill Wesley out on the left turn of shame to the garage, as Mike Rhino did make that turn, and unfortunately his night possibly will be over. But hey, you can stick around and watch. Maybe we can get him up here to join us in a little bit. Maybe we can have Aaron catch up with him and talk to him about what happened. I don't know. We'll see. But listen for Mike Rhino to maybe appear later on in the broadcast.
We'll also have to get with Wes about the pinch, the Sunday morning pinch between the legs on the Sunday morning church pew bench. You know, you ever had that done, Dakota?
Not quite, buddy, not quite.
Well, I tell you, 98 machine got pinched last time. Let's see if the 97 can pinch him this time.
McKay doesn't give him a chance. McKay is gone on the restart. Matthews is coming back up on the inside. I think this might be McKay's restart, as McKay's going to kind of give up a lot of speed. I don't know what's going on. McKay's a 3-wide back there. Jake Goodwin's going backwards in a hurry. The 48 machine in trouble. I'm looking to find him as he's on the outside now. He's back, going to lose 5th position. He's going to back to 6th here at the line.
He's tight.
Dylan Deval on the inside. Something's wrong with that 48 machine.
Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with Goodwin's machine, Dakota. He's tight. He lost a lot of ground, and it just looks like the car is not acting right. Now we've got a pass for the lead, possibly up front, as the 97 can't quite do it, but caution's out in front of the leaders. Oh, no! Man, he got out of the way just in time, Dakota, as the leaders were about to pile into whoever that was.
Robert Lee getting the wall in the backstretch, middle backstretch in 22nd position. He rode the wall, flipped the car around, and as the leaders are coming, like you said, just barely moves, and was able to get off the track just in time for the leaders. That was, I wouldn't doubt that they actually made a little bit of contact, possibly.
Aaron?
Or someone needs a new pair of pants.
Aaron, pit road not too busy. Stephen Matthews, the leader, elected not to come down pit road this time. But some drivers are down. Keith Mack's down on pit road in front of you.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting, they have to take 2 tires each stop. If they stay for 4, they will go a lap down because the track's small. And it looked like he might have just took fuel, maybe 2 tires. But quick stop for that guy.
Of course, that's Keith Mack. He's now been shown in 10th spot, Dakota. He is on the lead lap, the double deuce, if you will. Sporting the Chevrolet here tonight at South Boston, part of the Eastern Canadian team here. He is representing the Cape Breton, or Breton parts of Eastern Canada. And you've got them all from all over. You got the guys from Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. Of course, there's another one too. There seems like there's another one. It might be Cape Town there.
They're all fun to say. I mean, you just try to say it for a little bit. You have a little bit of fun, maybe entertain yourself. Which
oh yeah, no doubt.
Hard.
Hey, look who's moved up to 7th. Ricky Arbeau, the 61 car. We've just seen him go nowhere but forward tonight. He qualified again back in the 22nd position. Now he's been shown 7th. Now he's up here with the leaders, Dakota. Can he keep that car clean?
Well, let's ask him in the half lap we have to ask him. Ricky Arbeau, you got the backup car out, and now you're coming to the front. Is this car better?
Our car feels pretty good, guys. We're happy with how it came out of the trailer. It feels pretty solid.
Keep the gloves on, man, and keep coming to the front. I'll let you go now.
10-4, guys. Enjoy the show.
And there you have it from Ricky Arbeau, sitting in 7th position. Getting ready to take the green flag. I had to rush that because I kind of did it a little late. But Stephen Matthews getting a good restart. Ronald McKay on the outside, kind of diving on the inside. Almost ran him over in the center. Could back up, lose a little bit of time there. But Ronald McKay still sitting in 2nd position. In 3rd position, the 24. Big battle for 6th position as you was talking about Ricky Arbeau. Looking underneath, he looked like he was looking underneath Dylan Deval. Deval not going to have it. Going to get around him pretty easily as the 27 is now Deval's target as he's on the inside. Deval is like throwing this car around. I'd be scared to be right behind him if I was Arbeau.
Of course, that is Carter Wilson in the 27 machine ahead. Ricky Arbeau having to get on the minors there a little bit. Mike Alexander stuck on the outside of him. It looks like he may have the momentum pass here coming down into turn 3. Ricky Arbeau is in 7th position, now being followed back, the victim of the 15. Now the 22 starts to work on the outside of Arbeau. That's Keith Mack.
Arbeau is sideways. I don't know if you saw the last. Oh, it's Arbeau's in the wall.
Now he's around. Keith Mack involved in the 2 car.
Oh, we jinxed him, Keeton. We jinxed him.
I know. I hate that. Doesn't appear doesn't appear to be too much damage, though, Dakota. Well, you know, I don't know. He took a second lick, didn't he?
I don't know. I want to watch this coming off of turn number 4. This is 8th position of Ricky Arbeau. Looks like he just misjudged that distance as Aaron Grosskopf on pit road. What's the story on Ricky Arbeau as he did hit the wall?
Yeah, he was, I guess he was trying to keep it from hitting the inside wall, and he was spinning, and he got into the pit wall down here. He might be hurt pretty bad.
Ooh, him and a 22 making a little contact after the wreck. I don't know whether Ricky thinks it was a 22 or not, but definitely Ricky. I think Ricky underestimated the distance between him and the outside car, and just kind of drove up into him a little bit as he's going to run back up to the field trying to get back to his spot, and we'll see how the damage is. Ooh, the 22 again getting right on his bumper, wondering what's going on there. But going to go ahead, step away, take a quick commercial break. This is ETV Live presented by the HD Radio Network, the leader in sim broadcasting.
Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980.
Back live at South Boston Speedway, Stephen Matthews on the inside, Ronald McKay on the outside, the 3 wide behind him though. Ooh.
That's Dylan Deval down there below in the apron there a little bit, Dakota. He makes the pass up in the third, and now the 24 Mark Williams is around down the front stretch. Caution's out.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Like, I think Williams was even backing out of that for Deval, and Williams sent the 88 at Kevin Savory make contact. Deval made a little contact when he went 3 wide. But it looks like he just, I don't know quite what happened here. I'm watching coming off the corner. He just, I don't know. I think he came off the corner just a little bit straighter than Kevin Savory did, and Savory was still turning the wheel and kind of got into him a little bit. So that will put the 24 around. Not much damage, I don't think. But I think he'd be all right to continue. Maybe we'll get more on that with Aaron Grosskopf on pit road too.
Yeah, he'd be able to continue. Not a lot of damage, so he should be good to go.
Yeah, just looks like a little bit of cosmetic damage to the right rear there, Dakota. Like Aaron mentioned, should be good to go. Just get that car down pit road, and he is on his way down. But it's like you said, he might have let out of the throttle, Dakota, and then when he gunned it back and got back down on it, the car just lost control and he spun it. I think that's what it kind of looked like, and he was kind of already probably out of balance with a 3 wide action here at South Boston Speedway.
It is a little bit, but Stefan Arsenault getting the wave around here. I guess we're going to go ahead and we're going to name out the ETV Live wave around just because we can to feel special up here in the broadcast booth. Stephen Matthews will be the leader again as Ronald McKay had a pretty good restart there. But what about Dylan Deval in 3rd position right now? I mean, what a great jump he had going 3 wide, was able to get through it and get all the way through that, you know, up to 3rd position now. I think he's in position after starting in the rear of the field. Why don't we ask him, Dylan Deval, what do you got for these guys in front of you? You charged to the field. You were 3 wide there before the wreck. What do you got for these guys?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Lap 10, someone, I'm not sure who it was, came down on top of me and hurt my right front real bad. It hasn't been turning the way it needs to be since, but I don't know. This is the first time I've really had a shot to compare since I've gotten the damage, so I don't know. It should be interesting.
Now, are you sure it wasn't turning very well when you were 3 wide?
Well, it was, still wasn't turning the best, but I slowed down to make sure that I wasn't sliding up in anyone to make sure it turned.
Alright, Dylan Deval, well, we're in the closing lap, so wish you the best of luck, and that's the second time we have talked to Dylan Deval tonight. Hopefully he can get back up there and, you know, make this exciting. Up there is even more exciting than Stephen Matthews and Ronald McKay have had it, as they've been going at it for quite a while, as the field is set to take the green flag. I believe we're working 3 and 4 right here, as the pace car should be off just momentarily. Here it goes. Ronald McKay is on the outside. Stephen Matthews on the inside. Side by side. Deval's turned in turn number into just the front stretch. Saved it.
Wow.
Whoa, that was quick.
Wow. Deval did a tremendous job, Dakota, saving that. The 88, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but both of those guys did a tremendous job of basically not spinning out and taking the field out. Wow, what a hands move of the race award, or move hands of the award.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
The move hands a race award. There you go.
Yeah, Nathan Doherty spun it out though when he was checking up. His only car really spinning out, not much damage I don't think, but he is on pit road, unfortunately. And we're going to go ahead and talk to Aaron Groskopf to give an update on pit road while we try to get our words in statements and figures of speeches, you know, kind of figured out up here in the broadcast booth.
So far as I can see, there's only one taker on pit road, or no, excuse me, 3 cars on the front stretch. You know, they're just getting their feel-goods on and trying to make this final run for the race here as we wind this thing down.
Also, want to make mention, and the winner is Motorsports Show live on ETV Live and ETV Live Radio. Of course, ETV now powered by the HD Radio Network. Join Wesley Outland, Mike Neff every Monday night from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch the latest updates from the local dirt and asphalt tracks from all over the world and all over the country. Driver interviews and more in the Winter Is Motorsports Show every Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern on etv-eplay.net.
And the only place you can hear that, HD Radio Network, home of the ETV Live Radio, hard-driving radio network, gives you 7 stations to choose from, including big 80s metal and all HDR classics, all HDR country, all 80s adult radio, and more. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude. HD Radio Network is featured on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, and listen on Windows Media Guide. Listen today from hdradionetwork.com or take it with you. Get the mobile app from tunein.com. And that is
absolutely
broadcast right now.
All different kind of ways to watch the broadcast and even listen to it, as Dylan Deval and the 88 of Kevin Savory bring us out for another caution here tonight at South Boston Speedway. The number 2 spot belongs to Stephen Matthews, and the man out front on a mission right now, the 97 of Ronald McKay. And of course, this is the overall collision custom and restoration 125 at South Boston Speedway, a track that Dakota is known for its Wednesday night style racing, and that's the Eastern Canadian style.
You know, I'm almost afraid to drag anybody up here to talk to them on the radio here under these pace laps, because every time we have now, they've been turned around. First it was
I'm kind of hesitant.
First it was Arbeau, and now it's Deval, but he saved it. Deval saved it, so we'll give him that. But the green flag is out. Ronald McKay getting a good restart on the inside. He is the current leader heading into turn number 1. Deval on the inside, and Matthews is going to give up a little bit of time. He's going to come back on the inside, side by side for second position. Here comes Deval once again going through 3 and 4. Looks like Matthews is going to give up a little bit of ground on the outside. Here comes Deval, almost making contact, and he turns him. Matthews.
Well, he gets into the back of him.
Savory almost going around. Nice job saving these cars here. as Matthews will hold on to 3rd position. How about Carter Wilson sneaking into 4th, and Kevin Savory now battling the 3. I don't know who's in the 3 here. Jarrett Butcher, I haven't heard that name before, or before tonight at least. I don't know why I haven't, but Kevin Savory and him making contact because Butcher got the wall. Big wreck.
Big wreck. 6th spot, Kevin Savory involved. The number 15 car, Mike Alexander, for the 2nd time involved in a caution here tonight. Looked like the 88 car just got into the left rear quarter panel of Butcher there, Dakota, on the backstretch, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I think Butcher got the wall and kind of came down a little bit if you watch again. And then Savory got into Alexander and everybody else with nowhere to go, really.
Aaron, heavy smoke pouring from the 88 Chevrolets down on pit road. Could he be making the left turn of death here tonight?
I believe so, and as again, I mean, a lot of damage. You could definitely hurt your car on this kind of track. You get damaged. These cars hold together pretty good, but it'll definitely hurt your chances if you're smoking.
And Keeton, I think you take a little bit extreme there. It's the left-hand turn of shame, not quite the left-hand turn of death there.
Yeah, I know, the left turn of shame. And right now, no left turns being made other than the one on pit road. The 88's still down there on pit road. Smoke, heavy smoke pouring from that machine as he may declare himself out of this race. In the 97 of Ronald McKay out front, 95 laps in. Dakota, we're about 30 away from being done as they cross the line this time by. Looks like Mark Williams and Craig McDonald being both given the wave around here. The lucky dog, number 9 and 24. Going around so far, there are 14 on the lead lap. 15th all the way back to 27th. It's more than 2 laps down as Mike Alexander now being shown 1 lap down. Martin Landry last on the lead lap in 13th.
Now here's the big thing. Dylan Deval in 2nd, Stephen Matthews 3rd, Ronald McKay in 1st. I want to talk about this for just a moment. Every time it seems like we've seen a pass that's been on the outside on a restart, or maybe the inside just sneaking away with it. But this is the first time Deval is going to be out front on a restart, at least on the outside lane, or even out front at all on a restart. I wonder what he can do on this restart, whether he can get this pass made on a restart, or what's going to happen here. This is going to be a determining factor in the closing laps, as we do have 29 laps to go, I do believe.
It sure is going to make it exciting, that's for sure, Dakota. As you mentioned, the 42 on the outside of the 97 of Ronald McKay for maybe the first time here tonight. And then you've got the 98, of course, of Stephen Matthews, who's behind that mix. He knows how to make it 3 wide. He knows how to drive this track at South Boston. Here we go. Pace cars coming down low. Green flag racing in the air. Deval comes down a little bit on the 98. No harm, no foul. The 98 on the inside now in turn 1. Meanwhile, the 97 leads. That's Ronald McKay.
McKay gets loose. Deval gets into him. Deval on the wall. Uh-oh.
What a save again by Deval, but he did tag the wall a little bit, maybe a possible right front that could be going down here any moment. And the 42 gets a shove by the 22 in turn 2, and we've got caution.
Yeah, that took out Carter Wilson. Looks like, yeah, the 22 gets right into Deval, and Wilson had nowhere to go but charge into Wilson. So, not sure what happened. It looks like maybe just a 22 missing his mark or something. And that 22, I want to check on who that is. That is, I do believe it was. Trying to clarify here. Keeton after being gone last week.
So now that shapes the positions back out front, and Jake Goodwin, who had led this race for a lot of laps tonight early on and started from the pole, has moved his way into the number 3 position.
Yeah, this is everything is shaking up again. But I think Goodwin's in a good spot now, as we saw that Matthews is taking over the lead magically here. With all the things that went down right there, I don't know what to expect here. A lot less laps will be there when we go back green flag racing now.
So here we go. 101 laps out of 125 complete. Coming down to the wire, Dakota, nearly 20 laps now. 20 laps nearly to go in this one. And these will count down quick. This is a just under half of a mile racetrack South Boston Speedway is. Again, the overall collision custom and restoration 125 is almost in the books. Race number 4 in the MIRL Racing League, the Maritime iRacing League, brought to you out of Eastern Canada and Tim's Corner. Tim Terry doing a good job week in, week out, making sure these guys know exactly where they are on the track for qualifying and in the heats.
Yeah, and I'm watching right now. Dylan Deval is staying out on the damaged car. Aaron Groskopf, what's the word there?
Yeah, he thinks he can hold on to it, which, why couldn't he? He's done a great job holding on to that loose race car all night. You know, loose is fast, but too loose is wrecking loose, so you don't want that. Let's see what he can do here with his damaged race car. It looks like he has a lot of damage, so.
Well, here we go. Double file getting set for the restart. Deval will be fourth on the outside, second row on the outside in fourth position. Ronald McKay will start first on the outside. In second position with Stephen Matthews first on the inside, and Jake Goodwin second on the inside. And that will make up your top 4 with Keith Mack in fifth right now. And I do believe this going to run through. We're not going to run through anybody else. Getting set to take the green flag. Here comes Stephen Matthews leading to the green. Stephen Matthews gets a big jump. Ronald McKay nowhere to go. There, it looks like he just does not go. This Jake Goodwin is on the inside. Deval's gone. I don't know what happened to Deval. Maybe some electrical problems there.
That allows the 48 of Jake Goodwin to secure third there. He's working on the 97 machine of Ronald McKay. Meanwhile, though, Stephen Matthews up to about a 2.5 car length lead out of turn 2. 19 to go at the line, Dakota. It's getting pretty good down to the wire in Eastern Canadian style racing at South Boston Speedway on a Wednesday night.
But Jake Goodwin back all the way in third position now. I'm going to watch Jake Goodwin here. Remember, he was out front for quite a while earlier, and he was very good in his heat race. Started on the pole. He's in third position again. This is the guy to watch right now. He's coming. He's still got enough time to do it. As McKay is kind of sneaking in on Stephen Matthews for the lead there. Getting on his first, second, and third as Dylan Deval has officially pulled it behind the wall. He is done for the night with caution on the track once again.
And this one took place back here in about ninth position, Dakota, with Martin Landry in the 14 getting to it and the turns, and of course Tracy Foster in the number 2 also involved, just getting into the back of the 20 there. A little bit of a damage there, but caution's on the speedway nonetheless at South Boston.
Yeah, that 14 being Mike Rayburn. So Mike not having too great of a night there. He had a right one going, but not quite anymore, as he will be a little bit in trouble with a little bit of damage on the fenders, but hopefully it won't be too much so he can continue to run well.
Almost wrapped Dakota South Boston Speedway in the overall collision custom and restoration 125. Couple of things to throw out here. The Pit Report weekly talk show. The Pit Report, an engaging talk show about anything and everything sim racing and more. Josh Gerlach and Kyle Tarasca bring you lively debates and interviews, keeping us up to date and energetic with fan interaction and call-ins. The Pit Report, heard weekly every Thursday from 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. on ETV Live Radio. ETV Live Radio powered now by the HD Radio Network on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, and Windows Media Guide, and also etv-eplay.net.
I'm excited for that. I think they had a test run the other night, or maybe it was a week or two ago, but they did a great job. And it actually was started last week. I think they did a great job on that show as well. A lot of fun to listen to those guys, and you really want to tune into that.
And then, of course, iLeagueRace.com. These guys are a one-stop shop for iRacing leagues looking for total website and points management. In fact, Real Sim Racing uses these guys, Dakota, and they have a bunch of different series that they use iLeagueRace.com for. Custom scoring protocols, complete scheduling and management of series and events, even a blog set up for recapping your race. iLeague Race also provides driver and team sign-ups with integration of AIs such as scoring tickers and points updates. If you have an iRacing league, you need iLeague Race. www.ileaguerace.com.
You know, as we're getting set to go back green flag racing, we're going to hold off on the plug that you know is coming, because It's got to be done, but Stephen Matthews working the field in the middle of the backstretch with the pace car getting set to pull off. Remember, Stephen Matthews had a great restart last time. Ronald McKay could not touch him. We'll see whether this happens again as they're set to go. The pace car is off. There they go. Green flag racing. Ronald McKay is going to have to lead at the line, side by side, heading into turn numbers 1 and 2 with McKay just going to give up a little bit of time in the center. It looks like not quite able to cut it quite like Matthews is. His caution's back on the track already.
Mark Williams in the number 24 car, Dakota, getting into the number 3 there of Jarrett Butcher, and that's going to cause this caution. Mark Williams, I thought that he had it saved and possibly was going to go down pit road there, but lost it to the right and came back up, and the 14 was collected, and so was the 38 of Travis Roma, who is employed by Overall.
Unfortunate series of events there. But while we're at it, why don't we talk about ETV Live? ETV Live, the only choice in simulation auto racing broadcasting. Since 2008, ETV Live has produced over 600 shows for almost 200,000 viewers. That's a lot. ETV Live has pioneered and engineered some of the best innovations in online auto sports broadcasting. The industry experts ETV Live is the only choice. Visit us at www.etv-eplay.net. And I will bring that up because I want you to check out the new website. We got a new website up and it looks fantastic. JD Webb did a great job on it. He spent a lot of time on it, I'll tell you that, as he told me about how much time he was on it. Just today alone, it was not a short amount of time, I promise you that.
No, in fact, Dakota, we talked before the broadcast, me and JD did, and I tell you what, man, told me he was up at 5:30 a.m. I was dreaming of flying, dreaming of, the different things that we all dream of, while JD was hard at work on this website and worked all day long. And I'm going to tell you something, it looks totally different. And folks, if you've been to it before, and go ahead and take a look at it now and just see how impressive, how much different it looks. I mean, it's incredible. I love it. I love the website.
Yeah, hopefully he's getting a nap, some kind of like nap time in right now, or getting some sleep. Being as he was up almost all day working on that. It just fantastic job on the website. I can't say it enough. But and we're also going to talk about the VRC Mark II virtual racing seat by Bob Earl Racing, a simulation racing cockpit designed by championship race car driver Bob Earl, who better than a real race car driver to design a simulation racing cockpit. As a former race car driver, Bob Earl knows what it means to be comfortable in the cockpit. The design features a fully adjustable seat and frame, additional monitor and stand and shifter mounts sold separately. Proud sponsor of the 2013 RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, high quality and affordable virtual racing cockpit at just $349 plus shipping. See it at BobEarlRacing.com for one a day, and eventually I'll be able to talk, without, or at least read with stuttering so much. But green flag is out. Ronald McKay and Stephen Matthews up front, side by side, heading into turns number 3 and 4. Ronald McKay not losing a whole lot. Now he's going to lose a little bit. They're going to be side by side. They're going to wiggle. Almost made contact. McKay had the advantage going in. He's going to lose a little bit out. Or not. There he goes. McKay's going to clear Matthews on the outside. This wasn't even a restart. This was after restart. What a great job. Is Jake Goodwin now looking for second position to see us in third.
4 fingers in the air by the flagman, this time by Dakota the 98, working now down bottom. He's 2 car lengths behind leader Ronald McKay, who now comes to 3 fingers in the air by the flagman at South Boston Speedway. If a caution were to come out now, Dakota, it would be officially over. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
You jinxed it. Just going to say it now. But Stephen Matthews holding on to second position. I don't know that he can get back up to Ronald McKay, let alone get around him. It's really hard. He's going to have to use the bumper quite a bit, I think, and that's not something he's afraid to do here. I think those 2 are teammates up front, though, as they work through 3 and 4 it is on lap 124, coming to get the white flag this time by. Here they go. Ronald McKay for the last time will take the white flag. This is the last lap of the race.
And if 97 Ronald McKay can keep it clean through 3 and 4, he will pick up the checkered flag, and he does at South Boston Speedway. The 97 machine, Ronald McKay, wins the overall collision custom and restoration 125. Congratulations to him. Stephen Matthews with a little bit of a bump there, celebrating and congratulating him, finishes second. And then, of course, Jake Goodwin, man, I tell you what, the guy who's fought and clawed his way back into the top 5 here, finishes third.
Keith Mack, Stefan Arsenal in 4th and 5th, and I think Stefan actually did get a wave run at one point in time, so he did a great job coming back to the field. Vic Greenwood in 6th position, Jarrett Butcher in 7th, and Craig McDonald in 8th, Craig Weagle in 9th, and Mark Williams in 10th, Michael Keeton.
Absolutely. We're going to see if we can get Ronald McKay in here for the interview. He won the race. Ronald McKay. That is not his first win either. He picked up a Heat 1 race win at Lanier, and then Ronald McKay went on to win a B-main at New Smyrna last week. And now, Ronald McKay, the winner here tonight at South Boston in Heat race number 2, but the big one, the Rustic feature event, Ronald McKay.
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
I'll tell you what, Michael Keeton wanted to call it the Rustic Auto and Towing because of the first race of the season still, but Ronald McKay, man, you were able to get to victory lane. Finally, you've won heat races, but you just haven't been able to get there in the feature race. You finally done it. How's it feel?
It's a good feeling. We done a lot of work this week. We run a lot of laps trying to get this new tire model figured out, and my buddy at CBC Racing there, Stephen Matthews there, he helped me as much as I helped him this week, and that was a battle right to the end there. I didn't think I was going to get him. I got lucky there at the end, and the car turned in the middle. I got back in the fuel, and luckily enough, it was good enough for the win.
All right, Ronald, what was going through your mind? I mean, you said you wanted to use the outside. You said it was your favorite line at one point in time before the broadcast. You made it work. How'd you do that? I mean, was that planned at all?
Well, like I say, myself and Steven and Kevin Savory, Dave Dyer, Doug Hubley, John Waterfield, you know, like, we're all in here. We're putting a lot of laps on, and we're practicing stuff and working on things all week. And one of the things that we worked on was making the car turn in the middle of the corner. We knew the top was going to have to be used in order to win the race. And, you know, like, it was just one of them things where we just kept doing. We put hundreds and hundreds of laps on here after they changed this tire. And we had a good night tonight. We just, like I say, we just made sure the car turned in the middle, and it turned all night. I never pitted. We never took tires the whole night. And we had enough on the fuel load to get to the end, and the old car worked good. A lot of hard work. Me and my buddies there, but it was good to bring home the win.
All right, Ron, and I got two more things here I want to go through. First off, Dylan Deval came through the field. He was up to second before, I think he costed the lead, and then he was out. But what was going through your mind when you had that 42 machine on your back bumper looking like he just came out of nowhere?
Well, I mean, you know that he's going to be fast. He's fast everywhere, and starting in the back there, you know, I know he was in the pits a few times there on them cautions, and when you're at the back, you really have nothing to lose. You might as well keep taking tires, and then as you work your way to the front, you end up having fresher tires than the other guys. And like I was saying, like this tire, it falls off really fast. So if you have like 15 or 20 lap fresher tires than the other guys, it's going to make a difference. We still had a good car. I don't know. It was going to be a good race, but he's tough all the time, and, you know, he get into the back of me there, and, you know, I guess one of them racing deals or whatever, but, you know, it's just one of them things.
Ronald, man, you stayed on old tires the whole race. You were able to bring it home. Who makes it happen for you here finally?
We got Target Hydraulics, Dartmouth Dodge, and CBC Racing is the big thing. That's our race team, myself and Steven and Kevin and Dave, Doug Hubley, Sean Waterfield, all the guys, you know, we all chip in together, and we, like I said before, we work real hard through the week to do well in these races on Wednesday night. So big hats off to them guys. They're a big part.
All right, and thank you, Ron, and good win tonight. Great job by Ronald McKay. And before we step away, I want to talk to Tim Terry. Tim, what a night for you.
Yeah, that was a night. I think I might have whispered to you guys I made it 3 laps without wrecking this week. We wrecked on the pace lap last week. We wrecked on lap 1 in the first race. For me, I was just out there putting around and trying to get points. I was concerned at the start of the night not making the feature and having to rely on a points option. It's a good thing I made it through the heat because I wasn't making it through the feature or through the B feature with provisionals. But congratulations to everybody. There was a lot of cautions tonight. The incident review panel has their work cut out for them. I know there was a couple of guys that were involved in a couple of things. I have to apologize to Travis Roma because I got into him on the last caution. Everybody checked up and I had nowhere to go. But yeah, the incident review panel is going to be busy this week, and I think there might be a couple of more guys sitting out. But we head on to the next exciting event. We head off from the overall collision 125 to the KCS buy and sell 250 Dakota. Next week when we hit ETV Live, it's going to be 250 straight laps of racing. We're going to run heats on Tuesday night to make sure everybody's there. Iracing didn't put in a whole lot of pit stalls to that track. So we're going to start 22 next week. We're going to run heats on Tuesday. So when we hit the air on Wednesday, we'll be good to go for a 250 lap feature. Going to be our longest race of the season at Langley. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, well, Tim, I think we're all excited about it, but we're going to go ahead, step away, take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Again, this is ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network, the leader in sim broadcasting.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
We're back live at South Boston Speedway for the post-race show here. I'm Dakota Erman, joined by Michael Keeton, Aaron Grosskopf, Tim Terry, John Wessling, Jerry Wolf, J.D. Webb, and Phil Foltz. It's a long list of names, but joining Michael Keeton, the second-place finisher right now, Stephen Matthews.
Stephen Matthews won heat race number 2 at Lanier. Stephen Matthews won heat race number 3 at Martinsville. Stephen Matthews won last week the feature event at New Smyrna, and Stephen Matthews won the heat race 3 here tonight at Boston, and Stephen Matthews won or finished second here tonight at South Boston in the A main feature. Stephen, that's a lot of wins, my friend.
Oh, things are going pretty good now, Mike.
Well, talk to us about things going good, Stephen. You're sitting second in points. You're doing everything you have to do. Let's go back to Lanier. You got 64 points in the feature. I guess that's kind of where it went south, but from there, man, it's all went up north, and that's towards eastern Canada north.
Oh, 10-4 for sure. Just been putting a lot of practice time in. You know, practice gets you a little better. I probably knocked a couple thousand laps off there after the Iracing latest build, and just kept working away at it, man, and had a pretty good piece. I wish that caution wouldn't have come out. for South Boston here, but we'll take second, teammate first. It's a good run.
Well, Stephen, next week, we're not having any heats. We're not having any B mains. It's straight to the A main, straight to the feature, a 250-lap shootout, if you will. Talk to us about next week. How's the track look for you and your crew?
Oh, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of practice. We'll get right at it tomorrow. And Langley's a tight little track, different. Both ends are different. It's a flat track, real narrow, just like South Boston, pretty narrow track. It's going to be hairy. It's going to be tight. I don't really have too much for Langley right now, so I gotta. Hopefully, I qualify, Mike. That's the big thing right now.
All right, Stephen. Well, out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, you got anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's event?
I'd like to thank Zephyr Construction and Ideal Concrete and my teammates from CBC Racing. And last but not least, Travis Roma and Mark Wynot from Overall Collision Restoration for putting on the South Boston 125. It's awesome.
There you have it, folks. The man out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, Stephen Matthews, picking up a second-place victory here tonight. Now let's turn gears here a little bit and talk to the first guy in points right now. He's standing beside Dakota.
Ricky Arbo, an upside-down day. It was off and on, good and bad. But this is the second week in a row you won't get to victory lane, at least in the feature race, and not even a heat race tonight. But you will maintain the points lead. What are you thinking now?
Oh, we're all right. The event's done. I'm happy to come home 12th after going 3 laps down. We're good at Langley. I've been practicing there quite a bit too. Seem pretty quick right now. We'll just go on to next week and go from there. This one's behind us, and we're all right.
And Ricky, does this affect your thought process going into next week with this finish?
Oh, not at all. Like I say, even before the race, I stalked my teammates there, and had a couple races over the week there, and a couple of them didn't go so well. But had a solid car, just no luck, and that's the way racing is. And say we'll take it and leave it and move on.
All right, Ricky, and unofficially, I was told you have a 20-point lead. Hopefully, you can hold on to that lead, or keep it up, and maybe get back to a victory next week. And I ask you finally who makes that happen for you, bud.
Yeah, 10-4. We'll be all right for next week. Just like to thank all my sponsors: Keswick Kitchen, Eastside Board Supplier, Lee Reynolds, Buff and Stuff Custodial, and also the guys putting on the event tonight. Appreciate it. And also ETV, great broadcast.
All right, there you have it from your points leader tonight, bringing it home 12th position. Not a bad night for Ricky Arbo, but Keeton, South Boston was a great race, and it was kind of, everything we expected it to be. A little bit of trouble with the racing, but being side-by-side wise, but it was pretty good in the end.
It's just how we all expected when we started to broadcast the Latemodels out of Eastern Canada. These guys come down into the States and get into these tracks like there's like they're on the ice hockey rink, man. I tell you, they take the gloves off week in, week out. Ricky kept his own for the most part of tonight, but some guys, they took the gloves off tonight and went at it, and that's what I like about these guys. They race these tracks, Dakota, like they're meant to be raced, side by side, in and out from behind each other, around each other. They do a really good job.
Without a doubt, and going to go ahead and get final thoughts at tonight's race. Tim Terry first, and then we'll go to Aaron Groskopf.
It was a great race. Well, it wasn't a great race for me, and obviously there was a couple of cautions, as you mentioned, Dakota. But it'll be better for next week. But then again, it's Langley. It's a tight little bull ring. If you haven't run Langley yet, Iracing has done a fantastic job with that racetrack. It's just a shame we didn't have more pit stalls. But nevertheless, we're going to qualify on Tuesday night, so when we get here, we'll have 22 drivers that have qualified themselves and are ready to go. And I'm still absolutely shocked by the field we had tonight. We had 35 cars. We had to send 6 to the house, if it was, or 7 to the house before we even got racing this evening. So it should be fun to watch. And once again, as Stephen mentioned, I want to thank Travis Roma and Mark Wynot and Jeff Wynot over at Overall Collision. If you're in the Halifax, Dartmouth area, if you're anywhere in the Maritimes and you need some restoration work done or you need some custom painting done or collision work, head over to Overall and tell them that you saw them on the Maritime Iracing League. Great supporters of racing, not only sim racing but also in local racing as well.
All right, and Aaron Grosskopf.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first event that I've been a part of in this league, and it was a fun race to see how this league's unique. There's not a lot of leagues out there that do all the heat racing and stuff that I know of. Again, I haven't been around iRacing that long, but it was great to be a part of the broadcast team tonight, to try to be a part of this great broadcast that we put together.
All right, well, there you have it from the new guy, Aaron Grosskopf, Tim Terry, and Michael Keeton. Again, I'm Dakota Erman, and John Wesley pushing the buttons on the camera. Phil Foltz hanging around, Jerry Wolf hanging around, JD Webb also there again. Check out the new website. It looks great, fantastic. JD did a great job on it. But for all of us at ETV Live, we'll catch you next time.